Good evening, Stockholm. My name is Jussi, and it's great to be here tonight. That's me, as you can hopefully see all the way back there. So I'm a gaming guy. I was born in 1981, and from ever since that moment, my life has been full of video games. So I started playing games when I was a kid, and very soon after that, I started to figure out that how are these things made. These are so awesome, so I wanted to learn how games are made, which meant that I started tearing them apart. I started breaking them, and very soon I realized that I had developed some skills on modifying those games to be even better. And after that, I soon figured I was in a position where I could make my own simple little games. And at that point, my friends, I was in heaven, and there was no turning back. So I've been making those games 10 years now as a professional in this awesome company called Nitro Games. And basically during those 10 years, I've done more than 20 global game launches for this audience out there who has played our games globally, whether it's in US or here in Sweden or in Asia, in China or in Japan. And basically all those 10 years have brought me here into this fabulous moment. And what makes today really special is the fact that just an hour and a half ago, we announced a new deal that we made with one of the leading free-to-play game companies in the world called Wargaming. And that deal is valued for 11 million SEK. So it's really happy day to be as the CEO of Nitro Games today. But let's see what else we have to offer. So when we talk about games, we're talking about 100 billion USD business globally. So we are leaving behind movies, we are leaving behind the record label industry. So games are big, they're huge. And then when we talk about mobile gaming, we basically talk about games you play with these things. So games that I play when I'm on the move. And these games I download for free. And those free games generate this type of revenues. So these are actual revenues collected from internet on May 3rd. And that shows you the top 10 grossing games in US on iPhone. And basically, that means that the best games are making close to $200 million every single day. And that, my friends, means that a mobile game that you can download for free can theoretically be a $100 billion case annually. So that's the scale that we're talking about. I'm not sure how much you know about mobile gaming in general, so I thought to give a super quick lecture to open it up. So basically, when we talk about mobile gaming, we talk about gaming on the go, whether it's I play with my phone or I play with my tablet, but it's something I do when I'm on the move. I might be running from one meeting to another or waiting for this pitch to start or something else. I have a couple of minutes time and I want to do something great and I want to play a game. However, despite the fact that I'm playing on my own and looking at the screen, I'm actually socializing. So I'm playing with another human beings. That's my way of competing against another human. So you can compare it to some sports even. So that's a tool for me to socialize with the other people who are gaming guys like I am, and a way for me to compete with them. We download these games for free, and roughly 1% of all those people who download these games pay something. And what we pay for is the lack of our time, essentially. So when we are downloading these games for free, we are playing these against, say, people of all ages, whether it's teenagers who have nothing more than time. They skip their school by playing game and all that. But when I'm grown up, I have nothing but time, or everything but time. So time is something that's really valuable for me. And I have my job, I have my wife, I have my kids, so I have no time to play anymore. So these games are clever. They offer me microtransactions that help me speed up my progression in the game a little bit. And I'm happy paying for that so that I can remain competitive against all the other players out there. And other key thing about these games, other than that they are insanely big business, is the fact that with mobile gaming comes the thing that whenever I play these games, I'm connected to the cloud, so that mysterious thing over there that nobody sees. but it basically means my game is in connection with our servers in real time, which means we are pulling data from every single gameplay session into our servers, and our data scientists are going mad when they're crunching through all the data. Most of it's done automatically and automated. Which means that when we're talking about games as a service, we have insane amounts of data that we can use every single day to improve our service and optimize our service to make it even better for the customers. And the last great benefit about mobile gaming these days is that this is 100% digital. There is not a single retail component here. So we make the game software, that's all digital. We distribute the game software, that's all digital. We market the game software, that's all digital. The people get together, that's all digital. So there is not a single retail component here, which makes it truly scalable. So now I've spoken about all these great things, but there is a problem. And this is not some made-up problem for the sake of having an investor pitch. This is an actual problem that everybody has who has anything to do with gaming. Let's say if you're an investor, your problem is that, oh, all those gaming things, how do I know which games, which companies are actually going to succeed? Because it sounds all so complicated that I can't really figure out whether this actually makes any sense or not. Or if I'm a gaming company, my problem is that we have all these gaming ideas out there. It's such a competitive market. How do I know whether this or that of our games is going to be the next big hit? How do I know where to invest my money into? If I'm a consumer, my problem is that all the games are out there in the stores available for free, which means that there is no quality control because I can't get my money back if the title wasn't good enough. And that combined with the fact that there's more and more game companies out there means that me as a consumer, I need to find my games somehow and find the right titles. And this thing is becoming more and more important all the time because as these machines are getting more and more powerful all the time, the gaming software is getting more and more expensive to develop. It's not uncommon to see mobile games costing a couple of millions of dollars to develop before you can even get them to the storefront and get them to the customers. And at the same time, because there are so many companies out there doing these games, it's getting more and more competitive, which means that marketing is getting more and more expensive. Those downloads that we so desperately need are costing more and more. So that's a sort of combination that is intolerable for a lot of companies out there. And therefore, you need to figure out the way how to pick the winners as early and as cheaply as possible. And we have a solution for that. So, Nitro Games is this awesome Finnish gaming company. We have not been mobile all the time. We have 10 years of history under our belt. We were founded in 2007. First 5 years of our company, we developed games in boxes. So you can see, for example, East India Company here, which is our first global game launch, launched in 2009. It was launched by a Stockholm-based publisher, Paradox Interactive, which some of you might have heard of. And for us, that game series was an insane hit back in the day. We sold more than 300,000 copies total of East India Company. And back in those days, the games cost something like 40, 50 euros in a box. So that meant that the customers bought the box from the store and then unwrapped it and put the DVD into their PC and downloaded and started playing. And that was our business model. During those first 5 years of the company, we did more than 20 game launches in total. And we managed to reach some millions of euros in revenues. But the problem was that there wasn't any big scalability there, because that ecosystem was basically designed to serve the interest of these game publishers, companies like Paradox. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it just wasn't for us in a long term. So in 2013, we decided to make a big transition in Nitro Games. That's when we decided that we will focus exclusively on mobile. We realized that we're 25 people. We're in 2 studios. We're a multinational team. We're a team that is super tech savvy. We are talented in developing game software, game IPs. We're super agile. So we figured that mobile is the perfect platform where we can fully utilize the advantages of Nitro Games and our existing team. And during During these last couple of years, we've spent 4 years developing our own technology, which we call Nitro Games Platform. It's essentially a game engine that makes it quicker and cheaper for us to develop the game software. We've also done our learnings when it comes to this free-to-play on mobile. We published our own IP-based game called Rage of Glory, which has been featured by Apple in their storefront more than 10 times, selected as the best social game in Game Connection Development Awards. And we've also worked with a big Hollywood IP for a game called Independence Day Extinction. And with these first 2 titles, we realized that the problem we saw that I described earlier is actually pretty much growing all the time at a rapidly increasing pace. So last summer, we were in a position where we had the opportunity to do something new. And then we noticed that there is a new increasing market trend going on mobile, which is what we call real-time multiplayer on mobile. Basically, in a simplified world, this means that games where I play right now against some other human being in real time, and I'm socializing and interacting with another human being in real time without any delay. That opens a lot of doors for us core gamers out there. And also for us as a company, that means that there is a new market segment that's not yet been saturated. That means that there's room for new products, room for new companies out there, something that we can take advantage of. So that's the first key part of our solution. You need to make sure that there is a hole in the market that basically is perfect for what you have to offer so that you can justify your existence there. The second thing that we realized was that we have these 3 big unique selling points in Nitro Games that make us better than the competition in this market segment. We have one of the most experienced teams in the industry globally. We've been together for a long time. We've shipped several titles a long time. We've been mostly working for others, but right now we wanted to work for ourselves. So we took the experienced team. We have technology that we've been developing for 4 years. And these 2 things combined, we started developing these things with a unique new model, which we call Nitro Games Minimum Viable Product Process. Basically, that means that where typically a mobile game can take anywhere from 6 to 12 to 18 months to develop, we cut that time down to 1 week. That's 1 week. So we put 3 guys developing game software for 1 week, and after that, we publish that. What that means is that suddenly we're in a position that all these crazy game ideas we have, we're able to put them on screen super fast with our technology and test them with actual customers and collect actual market data from actual paying or then again non-paying customers, which means that we're in a position that we can have all these game ideas, comparable data, super cheap, super quickly. Then we select the best performing ones, develop them further, another week. Again, we publish and measure, because these are services that you can update in real time, thanks to everything being digital. So we progressed this way for a period of couple of months in the end of last year. We iterated a total of 7 different games, measuring them all the time, developing them further all the time. And when it was time to go for Christmas holidays, we had found a winner, a game called Medals of War, that was clearly outperforming the others. So with this process, we're able to cut down the time to market significantly, which we feel is a key since there's a new market trend going on. You need to be fast if you want to be first to hit it big. And then, third key thing, and I personally believe that this applies to any business out there, not just games, is that whenever you are doing something that's risky by nature, you better make sure that you have more bullets in your weapon than just one. So we have portfolio strategy. And our new technology and the new approach for developing games is a perfect tool to support this portfolio approach. So it does not only mean that we're able to minimize the risk that's typically involved with mobile gaming, but also maximize the potential. Because once we have something that works, we're able to put more of that something that works to the market and do it quickly. We are self-publishing this new portfolio of titles, which essentially means that the only thing between us and the end customer is either Apple iTunes or then on Android phones, Google Play. They take 30% from the revenues and we get all the rest. So we're seeing much, much higher profit margins than ever before in the history of the company. And therefore, it's so good to be here on the stage today telling you about this. To put us ourselves on the map, here's how we see the competition. So on the right-hand side here, we see hardcore games. And when we go all the way to the left, we see casual games. And top here, we see PC and console, so your typical living room gaming, and mobile and web in the bottom here, which is essentially gaming on the go. So basically, what we mean with casual games is typically games that everybody knows of, whether it's Candy Crush done by King or Super Mario by Nintendo, but it's typically games that I love to play, my mom loves to play, my kids loves to play, hopefully plenty of you love to play, and typically something that's very widespread. On the other hand, when we look at hardcore games, we're talking about games that are made for me. Games for gamers, games for people who play as a hobby and are not shy to invest money into gaming. And on hardcore gaming, I think on PC side, Paradox Interactive is a prime example because they have pretty narrow target audience where they focus on, and they really know their customer well, and they have been able to really make that work fine for them. We have similar, really narrow focus, but on mobile, because on mobile you don't have this type of companies yet, but as customers you do have. So essentially, we are making games for people like me who used to play a lot of Paradox games in the past, but nowadays I simply don't have time anymore to sit in front of a PC because whenever I do, I'm working. So I need a device to play on the go, and that's mobile. So we are creating the fantasy of playing these hardcore games on PC, on mobile. And that's why we know our customers really well. It's a relatively narrow segment. And that, my friends, is a super happy position to be in, because when we look at how these games are distributed, it's completely digital, like I mentioned earlier. We find our users globally. We get access to them through these app stores, iTunes or Google Play. We have our portfolio and our software development. But how do we actually find these customers is super simple. It's actually pretty complicated in practice, but on a theory level, it's super simple. It's digital marketing. And the easiest way to describe that is Facebook. Facebook knows everything about you. And that means that we are able to utilize that knowledge when we want to target our customer. We have really narrow focus when it comes to our target customer. So Facebook suddenly becomes our best friend because they know all about the audience. We know exactly who we want as our customer. And that makes our marketing super effective because we can directly target to those customers that we really want for our games. And then a critical part, also conveniently handled with Facebook and with other tools out there, is engagement. So this is critical part since it's a game as a service. Once I get those customers for my project, I need to make sure that they stay there. So we put really much effort into engaging our users through social medias, making our games truly social experiences so that the players will stay and spend. As I mentioned earlier, Medals of War is the best out of 7 titles. And now during this year, this game has been in production. And you can actually check it out there 50 meters that way on our booth if you want to have a go in practice. We are excited of getting this launched this summer. So let's have a look at the team. Luckily, it's not just me. My awesome co-founder, Antti Villanen. If I'm the gaming guy, he's the marketing guy. He's been doing digital marketing for longer than I have lived. I've had the pleasure of knowing the guy for 10 years and doing Nitro games together with him. And then we have Mr. Matti Nikkola, our CFO. He's experienced with working with Swedish companies, doing number crunching, the typical things that CFOs do. So he's taking care of that. Mr. Mikko Kähärä, our Chief Marketing Officer, he's a guy who's been working with mobile for ages, with mobile carriers and so on. So he knows how things happen when it comes to mobile. Samppa Rönkä, our CTO, is one of the best CTOs in gaming globally, period. I think Nitro Games platform is now probably his 3rd game engine that he's working on. So he knows his way around those digits, like ones and zeros. And key financials. As I mentioned, we did a strategy change in 2013, which means that we basically restarted the company from zero. And during the last couple of years, our focus has been in R&D and making games for others, so for publishers. And despite the fact that we're only now looking to launch our first self-published game, we have seen roughly 100% year-on-year growth when it comes to revenues. And when looking at the first quarter this year, we are seeing a strong uplift compared to the earlier years. However, we're not yet on positive. We're still burning more than we're earning, but the direction is looking good, especially when we're considering that we're only about to launch our new titles this summer. So we are actually right now in the middle of a subscription period. We're looking to list here on First North in Sweden. And we're looking to raise 3.2 million euros, which translates to roughly 30 million SEK. And that subscription is now going on until May 23rd. And basically the funds that we are looking to raise with this IPO, we are planning to use them to build our self-publishing business. As I mentioned earlier, we've just today announced this new deal, which secures us more revenues and more cash flow on the sort of service side of the business. So the funds from the IPO we plan to use in self-publishing and scaling this thing up. So back to the problem I presented originally. How do you know where to put your money, whether you're an investor, a gaming company, or a gamer? You need to see three things. There needs to be something on the market that's changing, evolving, a new trend. We and everybody else is seeing that real-time multiplayer is a new rising trend on mobile. However, that new trend needs to be addressed quickly. And with our super experienced team, technology that we've been developing for 4 years, and a new unique approach when it comes to market testing these games early on, we are able to meet the time to market quicker than competition. And when we combine this with portfolio strategy, we believe that we are in very strong position of being the next leading company in the field of mobile gaming. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jussi. You can come over here to this table, and we're gonna have some question for you. So very interesting. You talked a lot about the trends in mobile gaming, and I'm interested to hear what you think about like the trends in in gaming. Is it you focus on mobile, but how do you see it like on the PC side or in the computer side or multiplayer from online via PCs? Like how much of the market is in mobile and how much is it on the PC or in the Xbox? I don't know, where console gaming maybe that's called. Yeah.
Okay, so the whole gaming market is roughly 100 billion USD, and out of that 35 billion is on mobile. And mobile is the fastest growing segment in the field of gaming, so it's growing super fast. And when we look at these different platforms, how things all merge together, I think one thing that unifies gaming, whether it's consoles or PC or mobile, is the simple thing that it's becoming multiplayer. So the same effect that's actually going on in the whole society with this whole social aspect of digital services, whether it's social medias or like working from abroad or whatever it is, gaming is also going through the same thing. So games are becoming social and multiplayer focused. That's why you're seeing big trends on PC and consoles with esports and with competitive multiplayer. Those same things are obviously coming on mobile, but since it's a different type of platform technologically, the approach is a little bit different. But that's the overall big trend that's going on in the market.
And how do you see, what do you think about the issue that you're so, what do you say, like you're so bound to Apple and Google, because all of your games go through the iTunes store or the Google Play store?
Yeah.
Like how do you, because they I don't know, but I suppose they can raise the margins for you, and that will be a great effect on your revenues.
Yeah, so basically there is upsides and downsides in that model. Basically what we've learned is that no matter what the platform, whether it's mobile or PC, when you're talking about digital distribution, the channel typically takes 30%, whatever the name of the channel. So that's become more or less a norm nowadays. So we don't expect that actually to change. The good thing with these is that they bring a certain amount of regulation to the table, which you can see as a downside or as an upside. For me, I still remember when we were making PC games back in the day, and the amount of different sort of combinations of PC hardware out there, it's insane. No two players ever have the same setup. It can be different graphics adapter or different CPUs or whatever. So the combinations were endless, which meant that you could never really know for sure what technical setup the end user has. But then when mobile came and Apple introduced iPhone, things suddenly got a lot of easier because now we know exactly the device that the consumer has. And there can be no modifications to the device. So that actually makes our life easier from the development point of view, and that's something that we're happy paying their revenue share for.
Okay. And I'm interested to hear how long a game generates revenues. How long will a game live from the launch day and so forth?
Okay. Well, I think...
What was the name of the new game releasing this summer?
Medals of War.
Medals of War.
Yeah.
So how long will Medals of War last, you think?
I'm hoping more than 3 years.
Okay.
However, since it's game as a service, it only lasts as long as it's profitable or it makes sense to prolong the lifetime of the product. Some of the market-leading games are now getting close to being already 5 years on the market. So I think it's pretty safe to say that 2 to 3 years for a free-to-play game on mobile is a good lifetime.
The revenues come in the beginning, like how much in the come in the beginning, or is it a stream of revenues throughout the life cycle?
That basically depends on a game. Some of the games tend to be of the nature that they peak in the beginning and then for whatever the reason the curves go down. Those type of games typically don't last for very long. But then there are several games that actually weren't even profitable in the beginning, but through continuous rounds of iteration and providing updates to the game companies have been able to improve the numbers in the game so that it's actually becoming more and more profitable every day. So I think with free-to-play, the good thing is that since everything is connected to cloud, everything is very data-driven, you don't need to worry that much about the performance on the first day when you go to the market, but more about where do you see yourself in 1 year and in 2 years and how you plan to get there. So it's more about developing the service further and optimizing the numbers as you go.
And as you also said about the marketing, you're doing a lot of the data come through Facebook. And how does that work in for you? Can you is there any other options for you to market your games, or is it Facebook? Or you're so connected to Facebook as you are with the iTunes and Google Play for the distribution part?
Not locked. And there are several other ways that we actually use. I use the Facebook as an example for the sake of simplicity. But there are other channels like Facebook that basically give us sort of similar tools. However, not much like Facebook and Google are basically the companies that know most about the consumers globally, that have access to that information that helps us with targeting. Then there's completely other type of marketing methods, which is, for example, one thing is these influencers who are basically YouTubers who make video blogs on YouTube and talk about games. They can be a significant source of downloads for you if that sector is done really well. So there's a lot of different ways, but it all boils down into not just getting downloads, but getting the right type of downloads. I want the right people to download my game, and I basically want to avoid wrong people downloading my game because they're nothing but a cost factor for me.
And this game you're releasing this summer, is it a free game, or are you going to charge some money for it?
It is a free-to-play game in which you can theoretically spend more than $10,000.
Okay, on what?
On basically microtransactions. So here's the cool thing. When I spend in some games like more than $500, I don't actually spend them like once. I don't give them a check of $500. I actually spend like $2 today, $10 maybe on Friday. The next week I might spend $20 if I'm playing a lot. Then again, a couple of weeks not spending. Then again, spending a couple of dollars. So it all comes from little streams like this, from guys like me who are in their 30s at least, have at least decent income, and for them spending, you know, $50 to gaming or even more per month is not a problem.
Okay, interesting. So if you have any more questions for Jussi, you can catch him outside because the time is now out. So thank you very much and good luck.
Excellent. Thank you.